This season has had so many phenomenal players play the game at the highest level, and that stuff has really made this list very hard to make, going down who are my winners for these awards and everything. But let's get into it. And if you're interested in my All-NBA first, second, and third team, I already made a separate video on that a couple days ago. Link in the description below, and the video will pop up on your screen right now. But let's just hop straight into this. I don't want to waste no time with these awards. Going into my MVP, obviously the most highly debated award out of all of them. The three main candidates obviously being Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid, but no stalling at all. My 2023 MVP is Joel Embiid. Now, if you disagree with this pick, which I know people will because of how close this race was for MVP, it's alright. I mean, I'm fine if y'all disagree. I don't know if y'all will pick Giannis or Jokic. Personally, I had it Embiid first, and then Giannis second, and Jokic third, just because of how the players closed out the season in a whole, like this whole second half from All-Star break until now. And then, of course, they played awesome like the whole before All-Star break, but they really finished strong towards the end. I'm talking about Embiid and Giannis. Jokic, not too much. But even if you disagree, one thing I don't really enjoy hearing about Embiid specifically in this MVP race is he's getting a pity MVP. I understand voter fatigue is a thing in the NBA and in the NBA voting system, but the thing about Embiid is this man Embiid has been, like, comparing it to other seasons, has been unreal. Like, this is a Shaq type of season he's having on offense and defense. It's not like he's been doing this type of play for the past 3 years or something where it's like, alright, I mean, we'll finally give it to him. It's not like that at all. Embiid has been consistently dominant, while Jokic, him and his team have not been very great this past month of NBA. Giannis, I would not be mad at you at all if you pick Giannis over Embiid. Jokic, I think there's a conversation there, but Embiid, I think, is MVP. Giannis is finishing strong. His team is the best in the league. Like, Giannis is playing the best basketball. I think he was the only player in NBA history to average 30, 10, and 5 on 50% field goal percentage since Wilt Chamberlain. Giannis is playing incredible basketball. Of course, Jokic is as well. I don't want to, trash on Jokic to uplift my player. That's an awful thing to do in NBA. But Embiid still is my pick for MVP, leading his team in just absolute dominant fashion. Averaging 33 points per game, 10 rebounds per game, 4 assists per game, 1.7 blocks per game. Embiid has not only been unstoppable offensively, he's been great defensively. He might not be the best defender on this list of the candidates because Giannis is on here, but Embiid is no slouch. He can definitely anchor a defense, obviously looking at that 1.7 blocks per game. And when you just look at him play, he is a presence down low. And the edge that Embiid does have on Giannis, like I was talking about earlier, I wouldn't be mad if someone picked Giannis. But the thing about Embiid is why I'm picking him is he is genuinely unguardable. Like, he's actually unguardable. He can shoot the three, the mid-range, the post fade, the step backs, post you down, dunk on you, hit layups on you, offensive rebound, put it up, dunk on you. He's not a horrible passer. I think Jokic has that. Giannis might have it over him too. But Embiid is still no slouch on playmaking, being able to make players like Gorgie Jane, Tobias Harris, DeAnthony Melton be very solid pieces for the 76ers this year. Embiid is my MVP for this season. I probably have it as Embiid, Giannis second, and Jokic third, like I said earlier. Let me know in the comments below who your pick is, and let's get on to the next award. Now, for Sixth Man of the Year, I think a lot of people are deciding between Quickly, Bobby Portis, Malcolm Brogdon. In my opinion, my Sixth Man of the Year is Malcolm Brogdon. He's averaging 14.9 points per game on the year. Let's give him that 15. 4.2 rebounds per game, 3.7 assists per game, and shooting a 61.5% true shooting percentage. Now, in my opinion, Malcolm Brogdon is probably the most efficient and most consistent and reliable player on the candidate list, and almost finished the season shooting 50, 40, 90. And he's most definitely not a slouch on the defensive end. He might not be the best defender on this list, but you can go out there and ask him to just play some solid defense, don't give up a 30 piece, and he can do that most definitely. Manuel Quickly and Bobby Portis most definitely have a case. This race is not set in stone, Malcolm Brogdon, but I do think Manuel Quickly is too hit or miss at times. At times he can give you 30, 25, or something like that, and then at times he can give you 6 points or something. But one thing about Emmanuel Quickly I do like is just his energy out the bench. He's definitely a spark plug. But the thing about Malcolm Brogdon, he can go out there, just shoot couple shots, not going to do too much, not going to do too less. I don't think he's going to go out there and have an awful shooting night, go like 2 of 12 or something. He's going to go out there, be pretty efficient, do what you want him to do off the bench, and I think that's what you want out of a 6-man. Now before I get into my award, a huge portion of y'all are not subscribed to the YouTube channel. It would be greatly appreciated if you went down below, hit the subscribe button if you like the videos and everything. It does a ton for the YouTube channel. And let's get on to Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year, I think, is actually a pretty set in stone award. I think it's Mike Brown, without a doubt. Mike Brown has led the Sacramento Kings team that had literally no expectations going into this year. Probably the expectations to make the play-in, maybe like fight for that play-in spot. Mike Brown has made these guys go to a top 3 seed consistently for the season. Being the head coach of the Kings, making the playoffs for the first time in 16 seasons. That is insane. His ability to get the best out of his players as well has been absolutely amazing to watch. Making De'Aaron Fox a bonus. That duo that, you know, was good, but no one really was like, oh, that can be a deadly duo, lead this team to like top of the tier in the West. No one really expected that from this duo because of the lack of shooting at both of them. But Mike Brown has made these boys a great duo and the whole team be just a well-oiled machine. Maybe not so much on defense, they're not a great defensive team, but offensively, this team can score buckets. A pretty crazy stat, this is Mike Brown's first head coaching opportunity since 2014. Obviously he's been an assistant coach, but this is his first time getting that head coaching opportunity again since almost a decade. And he's been unbelievable for Sacktown. Now for most improved player of the year, I think this is actually pretty easy for me as well. I think this is pretty much no question, Lauri Markkanen. This man Markkanen was basically a throwaway piece in the Donovan Mitchell trade and now became an all-star starter. Over one offseason too. Markkanen has been playing great basketball all year for the Utah Jazz. And last year, comparing last year to this year stats wise, last year he was averaging 14.8 points per game, 5.7 rebounds per game, 58 true shooting percentage. You compare it to this year, this man Markkanen jumped his stats up from that to 25.6 points per game, 8.6 rebounds per game, and shooting 64 true shooting percentage. This man bumped his stats up tremendously over one off season. And from last year to this year, he's only gotten 4 more minutes. So it's not like he went from 12 minutes to 25 minutes or something. He only got 4 more minutes from the Cavs to Utah. This man is still playing incredible in the same amount of almost the same amount of minutes that he got last year. And he went from like a solid role player. He was starting for the Cavs last year. He went from a like pretty solid role player. He was shooting pretty good last year to all-star starter. That is insane. And a borderline all-NBA player. And even though the Jazz are in the playoffs, Markkanen led this team to a surprising start to the season where they were like top of the West for about a month. They slowly declined, but Markkanen nonetheless led this team to an amazing start, and for him at least, did not slow down individually with his stats and everything. I get that people might pick Shea or Jalen Brunson or something for MIP, but the thing about those guys, especially Shea, they showed flashes before. Shea is pretty young, like we saw his growth with the Clippers last year with the Thunder and everything. He was averaging like 24, I believe. He was still pretty young. We're like, this kid can be pretty good in the league, like a borderline all-star. And he definitely, not saying Shea did not improve, Shea definitely improved a ton. Like this was a great year for Shea improvement-wise. He went from 24 to 30 plus. But I think Shea is one of those young players where we saw a big jump coming, and we saw that jump most definitely this year. And Jalen Brunson, not saying that we expected this from Jalen Brunson this year for the Knicks, but we saw him play great basketball in the playoffs where it mattered most for the Mavericks last year. And if you were to translate that for the Knicks, this will be a type of season he would have. Not saying we predicted that, I definitely didn't predict that. Jalen Brunson definitely did surprise me this year. Definitely should be in the talks for MIP. But Lauri Markkanen, come on, this man went from a role player for the Cavs last year to an all-star starter over one off-season. Now for Defensive Player of the Year this season, I think it's a very close race between Jaren Jackson and Brook Lopez. But since the season's over, we've gotten the full sample of the season for these two guys. I have to go with Jaren Jackson Jr. Jaren Jackson the whole season, I was honestly considering putting him on All-NBA, but for Basketball Reference, they put him at center, so I didn't put him on there because there's only 3 center spots. I had to put Sabonis at that last center spot. But if he was a power forward, he'd be on my list for sure because of his offensive growth and of course his insane defense. Now let's get into the Memphis Grizzlies defensive stats, because of course a lot of that has to do with Jaren Jackson's incredible defense. Of course some of it is because of other players in the whole system and everything, but Jaren Jackson is a huge piece of this. They have the 3rd best defensive rating in the league, they give up the lowest field goal percentage in the entire league, and of course where Jaren Jackson Jr. is on defense, they give up the lowest percentage within 6 feet of the basket. So when they drive in on Jaren Jackson, that layup or that floater or that dunk, that is not going in like it is versus other teams. Jaren Jackson Jr. has been the cornerstone of the Memphis Grizzlies defense, just been incredible to see all year. And he's also averaging a crazy 3 blocks per game, being only one of 4 players to do that in the past decade. So in my opinion, Brook Lopez has been a great defensive player all year. If you want to pick Brook Lopez, that's completely fine with me. But my pick for this year, Jaren Jackson Jr. So my rookie of the year, I think is a pretty easy pick in my opinion. I got Paolo Banchero. Jalen Williams definitely did make his case towards the second half of the year. But Paolo, I think is my pick still. Dude has been hooping all season long, and not just losing games too like the Magic were expected to do. They were winning a good amount of games since All-Star break, not just tanking for Wemby or something. Like Paolo was leading these guys to a decent amount of wins. They were even in like the play-in race somewhat, like they were kind of at the back end of it, but like they weren't like completely eliminated as soon as we thought. And in the beginning of the year, Paolo was playing so good, I was almost considering him to be an all-star candidate. With all that being said, Paolo has been averaging a great 20 points per game, 6.9 rebounds per game, 3.7 assists per game, and his shooting splits haven't been great. I mean, we can be honest, not shooting the 3-ball great, could be kind of inefficient with the mid-range and everything, but it's still his rookie season at the end of the day. You gotta, give him a break at some point. But watch out for Paolo once he gets this efficiency up. If he gets that 3-ball up, we gotta watch out for the Orlando Magic and Paolo. And he's also a great defender for his age, and he has a big frame, tall frame, athletic. He can keep up with a lot of guys and play pretty good defense. So Paolo is my pick for Rookie of the Year. Jalen Williams definitely had a case, Walker Kessler had a case, but I think Paolo has this in the bag. And if you care about this award, I know, it's not like super impactful for anything, but Clutch Player of the Year, I'll put it on here. I got De'Aaron Fox pretty easily. The Kings average the most points per game in the clutch, have the 2nd best field goal percentage in the clutch, have the 3rd best 3-point percentage in the clutch, and have the 4th best plus minus in the clutch. And a lot of that is due to De'Aaron Fox's incredible play during those times where you need it most. Those are team stats, even though Fox is the one leading this team, so a lot of those stats are due to him. What is he doing out there? Well, he's first in points per game in the clutch by qualifying players and has a 126.9 offensive rating during the clutch. That man is going crazy out there when you need him most. De'Aaron Fox, my pick for Clutch Player of the Year, without a doubt. So those are my awards for the 2022-2023 NBA season. With the season wraps and we're going into the play-in, playoffs and everything, make sure to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you can keep up with everything I got going on during the craziest time of the year, which is the playoffs and postseason and everything. So hit the like button down below, subscribe button, notification bell, so you can be notified as soon as I upload. And if you agree, disagree, or you're on the fence with these award predictions and everything, even though they're not predictions, they're actually just my picks for the year, put it down in the comments below. Let me see what you think. Let's have a conversation about it. Be respectful, and I'll have to see you guys in the next one. Peace out.